All right. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Good. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here with you today. I'll give you a little introduction about myself, but even though I'm the new executive director of CDPHE, I still maintain my residence in Eagle County, just about an hour east of here. And so I hope to bring that Western Slope perspective to the county. To the state. I've lived in Eagle County since 2004. I moved up there to be the public health director, and then in 2012 I ran for county commissioner and spent 6 years in that role as a two-term commissioner. I see a lot of friendly faces here today from that wonderful experience. And then I came to work for the administration at the end of January. So I have not been in my role for a long time. And full disclosure today, I am not an oil and gas expert by any means. That's not an industry we had in Eagle County. And so even though when folks talk about land use, I understand what that means from a development perspective, this really isn't my background. So staff has helped me prepare a PowerPoint today. And at the end, when there are questions, I'll call staff up. I will tell you this, though. We want to develop a relationship with industry at CDPHE. I will take a meeting with anyone. But the most fantastic news of all is that I recently hired John Putnam to be our environmental programs director. And for those of you that have interacted with CDPHE in the past, this is the Martha Rudolph position. So this is a deputy that reports to me that oversees all of the environmental programs, including Air Pollution Control Division, Water Quality Control Division, hazardous waste. John is really a collaborator. He's a nice guy. He has a background. He's an attorney. He's been with Kaplan and Kirsch for many years. And he's also been on Denver's Air Quality Council. And so he will bring the expertise to this role that I lack today. But I want to go through some PowerPoint slides. And then, like I said, feel free to contact me if you have additional questions that my staff and I simply aren't able to answer today. I can answer, of course, some of the high-level policy questions of the administration and the department. Sean can answer some of the technical questions, but if there's gaps, we'll certainly try and get those answered for you. So slide one, am I doing the slides? Is someone doing the slides for me? Sorry, I should have gotten this logistic taken care of right before I walked up here. Oh, perfect. Yep, thank you. So wanting to start on a positive note with the recognition that we know ambient air monitoring data from oil and gas production regions shows a significant reduction in oil and gas related hydrocarbons over the last 10 years. And give the industry kudos for those. We know technology has improved with time. We know that there are some efficiencies to be had in some of those technologies, and there are environmental benefits to that as well. So my staff tell me we've seen a 44 to 68% reduction in non-methane organic compounds in Garfield County, here where we are today, and 55% in Weld County. So we know that there still remains work to be done, and CDPHE is currently in the process of holding several stakeholder meetings. I'll tell you a little bit about these meetings so you can get involved if you aren't already. We've got the statewide hydrocarbon emission reduction task force, and this is in order to reduce emissions from the oil and natural gas sector. The SHEER task force is currently in the process of gathering data and evaluating strategy recommendations from stakeholders. And we anticipate that emission reduction recommendations will be proposed in January of 2020. Along with the SHEER task force, the Air Pollution Control Division is also working with stakeholders on the Mnemonic Controllers task force. This task force has been working to quantify emissions from gas-driven pneumonic devices and assessing the cost effectiveness of existing inspection and maintenance programs. And findings will be reported in May of 2020. To talk about the Denver Metro North Front Range ozone non-attainment issue. Although ozone non-attainment is mostly a Front Range issue, we recognize that there are operators from around the state here today who may be impacted by the Air Pollution Control Division's ozone planning efforts. Due to high ozone values from 2016 to 2018, Denver Metro and North Front Range areas will be bumped up to a serious non-attainment status sometime in 2019. What this means for oil and gas operators in the area is that the threshold for determining whether a source is, quote, major, and therefore subject to more stringent controls, will drop from 100 tons per year to 50 tons per year. In addition to this change in the major source threshold, Colorado will need to submit a state implementation plan, or a SIP, to the EPA sometime in 2020 to 2021. The date will be determined by the EPA. And we are in conversations with them about milestones and how this could look. In addition to this change in the major source threshold, Colorado will need to submit, attaining ozone standard will require reductions from all significant emissions sectors, including oil and gas, and CDPHE is up for the task. The bump up, of course, is limited to the Denver metro area, North Front Range area, and will not impact the rest of the state. I know you know about Senate Bill 181 because Jeff just went through it. I'll tell you a little bit about it from CDPHE's perspective. So in addition to refocusing COGCC's mission, it requires our Air Quality Control Commission to adopt regulations to minimize emissions from the oil and gas exploration and production, midstream, and transmission sectors, including methane, VOCs, other hydrocarbons, and NOx. Consider additional leak detection and repair and other monitoring requirements, and considering requirements that facilities use mnemonic devices that don't vent natural gas. Perfect. Lastly, Senate Bill 181 clarifies the Air Quality Control Commission can regulate emissions from pre-production activities, including drilling and completion emissions. I'll talk a little bit about, sorry, just lost my way. Sean's gonna have to help me with the acronym.
The Oil and Gas Health Information Response Program.
Oh, the thing that's written right up there, right? I see. Okay, thank you. So this is monitoring we do around health concerns. People are able to call into a phone line if they're near a drilling operation and report any adverse health impacts they think they have. So anyway, you can see that the most often reported health symptom are headaches, followed by nausea, cough, throat irritation. We also get a lot of odor complaints. We'd say the Northern Front Range counties account for approximately 75% of the concerns related to our oil and gas information and response project. While our investigations have not measured pollutants in excess of health guidelines values, additional air quality monitoring and health risk assessment should continue in order to better assess the potential for community-wide health impacts. And to that end, the Oil and Gas Information Response Program is finalizing a comprehensive health risk assessment. I'm sure a lot of you know about this. This uses the emission data from the CSU studies from the North Front Range and Garfield counties. The findings are currently under peer review, and we expect the results of those to come out this summer. And then I was told a few minutes ago I only had 5 minutes left, so I want to just go over a couple slides. This is probably a really important one. So I kind of said this, that we've not found any concentrations above short or long-term health guideline values, but the conclusions are only relevant, of course, to the time period and locations in which the samples were collected. and then the risk assessment. So just in a couple of other ways that we regulate oil and gas, this is from our Hazard Materials and Waste Management Division. We have Senate Bill 18245 that gave the division the authority to promulgate rules concerning technologically enhanced naturally occurring radioactive materials. You all know that probably lovingly as TNORM. We have the division hired Rural Engineering to prepare a draft report. The draft TNORM report is available on our website. The public comment period closes on April 19th. So we're still taking public comment. And then from our Water Quality Control Division, some pollution prevention activities from the Clean Water Act. The division issues permits and requires spill notifications from permitted surface water discharges, for groundwater discharges when they are outside the authority of the COGCC. This includes construction, stormwater, hydrostatic testing for pipeline operations, and produced water discharges to surface water if applicable. And then, of course, safe drinking water protection activities. We work in coordination with the COGCC to implement Rule 317B to ensure oil and gas operations in drinking water source supplies areas are effectively managed. I probably only have a couple minutes for questions, but I'm happy to take them, and I'll invite Sean Hackett, oil and gas expert extraordinaire, up to help answer any technical questions. And thank you for your patience as I continue to learn more about the field and industry.